Smart Chiropractor Show. It is time for our featured guest segment, and I don't play favorites, but this was a conversation that I enjoyed. We had a chance to sit down with Dr. Shawn Robinson. He is a cool guy, and he has developed an incredibly small, chiropractic's a niche within a niche within a niche. And then he is specifically, his practice is built around skateboarders. Why? Because he is a passionate skateboarder himself, and he is doing some really cool stuff. ChiroSkate on Instagram. We'll probably shout that out a few times during the interview. Jason and I had a chance to sit down with Shawn, geek out about his story of how he got into chiropractic, which gets a little bit heavy and is really intriguing and interesting, and also touch upon where he's hoping to go in the future. If you are serving a niche population, or you even have interest in it just beyond the larger population that you serve in your practice, this is an interview you're going to want to check out, and he is a chiropractor you're going to want to keep an eye on. Without further ado, here's Jason and I's interview with Dr. Shawn Robinson. Hey, Smart Chiropractors. Dr. Jeff Langmaid here with my co-host, Dr. Jason Deitch. And today's featured guest is somebody that we have personally been following online for a bit. Dr. Shawn Robinson up in Atlanta runs ChiroSkate on Instagram. You want to be sure to check that out. And we're going to explore topics all around niche practices, utilizing Instagram and online channels to really build your voice as a chiro. Shawn, thanks for taking some time and chatting with us today.
Yes, thanks guys for having me on. It's an honor.
Our pleasure. So I'm going to kick it off as a very poor skateboarder for a very long period of time. I love what you've done with a pretty niche community in terms of skateboarding. How did you start to think about this? Was this in school? Was this before you even went to school? What were the origins of ChiroSkate?
Oh man, so the origins go back about 12 years ago, really. So I've been skateboarding now for close to 20 years. Along that time, I've had a lot of injuries, a lot of things happen, fall into the concrete. And over that time, it had actually started to affect my body. And I really didn't even realize what was going on. So I remember taking it really far back to when I was about 14. I had hit my head on this little quarter pipe. I had gotten caught at the bottom and actually like sideways Superman slammed my head. Was out unconscious for about 10, 15 seconds, 14, 15 years old. You think nothing of it. Just keep going, living your day. And so about, 2-3 months go by, and I just keep noticing I'm having these weird headache, migraines, kind of like just visual disturbances and trouble focusing. I'm like, this is different, Let me talk to parents about this and see what they think. So I told my mom, and she's like, oh, you could have a brain bleed. Let's go to the emergency room now. And so we go there and they do all these scans and they're like, oh no, your boy's perfectly healthy, perfectly fine. Nothing really that we see that's causing the migraines. Just gonna have to learn to live with it. And so I'm 14, 15 years old. Like, oh, okay, I got to learn to live with this. That's 80 years to learn to live with this. All right, maybe we'll figure out something to learn along the way. And so I was learning to live with it, and they would give me medications for pre, medications for post. Nothing really helped. And I actually was working at a shoe store, and the doctor's wife came in that day, and I was selling her a pair of shoes like any other person coming in. And she's like, oh, I really like you. I'm like, oh, cool. I really like you too. She's like, no, I think you should come work for me and my husband. He's a chiropractor down the road, and I think you would be a great fit. I'm like, what's chiropractic? And she's like, oh, he'll explain it all to you. Just come on in. I'm like, all right, doctor job kind of sounds cooler than a shoe store job. I'll at least go see what he's talking about. So I go in and he explains to me chiropractic, how the brain body has a connection, and how essentially things like migraines, headaches, and things like that can be helped with chiropractic adjustments. And I'm like, whoa, I got this going on. You think you can help me, doc? And he's like, well, sure. He's like, if you're going to be working with us, like, that's something I can offer you. I'll be able to adjust you free. I'm like, oh, this is a shoe-in. All right, let's sign me up. Where can I start today? And so I start getting adjusted, and probably a month goes by, and I'm like, man, doc, I have not noticed any migraines, any headaches. Like this, you really think this chiropractic stuff is what helped it? And he's like, well, kind of going a little bit more into my background with the fall and stuff. And he's like, well, if you got this shifted and we shifted it back, then you're seeing that change of not having it. It's like, so it just kind of clicked for me. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this stuff is amazing. I want to go and learn how to do this, because I'd already had a big interest in alternative care. My father, unfortunately, had passed away at 48 to drugs and surgery. He had hurt his back on the job and immediately went into the workman's comp route, surgery, pain meds, muscle relaxers, all of that. Had about 8 back surgeries by the time he was 42 years old. And all of them unsuccessful. And he was wound up taking him to about 10 milligram methadones a day, which I believe they got so high because of the half-life on methadone and things like that he just had to keep bumping up. Well, eventually, the problems that come with opioids and things like that. And so it actually had caused some really chronic constipation for him. And a lot of the surgeries had actually caused him to be a little septic. And so he was having a lot of problems and pain, but since he was having the pain pills to help subside it, he really never noticed an issue until one day the pain just got so much greater than what the pain pills can handle. He goes to the ER and they're like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Robinson, you have a lot of gangrene on your colon and we have to do emergency surgery to remove that gangrene or you're going to die." And he's like, "Okay." So they do the emergency surgery, take out the piece of the sigmoid colon, things like that they can, and they don't get it all. And so they stitch him back up and it's still going crazy in his body, and he throws a brain aneurysm. They induce him into a coma, and I remember going in there, and he was a big Auburn Tigers fan. If you're from Alabama, it's not Democrat or Republican, it's Auburn or Alabama. So he was a really big Auburn fan. And so I remember watching Auburn score the last touchdown against LSU as he took his final breath. And it was just really, really amazing to see that tie into a little bit later what I'll tell you how it comes in back into play with where my office is at now. But so that being said, I saw him take his last breath. I was like, man, he was just too young. Like that, I just felt it just didn't feel right. I felt like he was denied life, and so I was like, "There's got to be something else out there." And this is before I even knew what chiropractic was. So I'd started looking into physical therapy, right? And so I started shadowing all these PTs, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get you great at skating. We're gonna do all this, do all that." And I was like, "All right, cool." I was hyped on it, and started working with the chiropractor and just started seeing the adjustments, what they were able to do with the adjustments, and then adding the physical therapy on top of the adjustments, how much more exponential the people were getting, just better, myself included. So I was like, man, I like the PT stuff, but the chiro thing just feels more for me. And so I had been going to Atlanta, Georgia has a lot of beautiful architecture in the city, perfect for riding a skateboard on. So small town Alabama doesn't really facilitate getting rad tricks and things like that as much as going to a big city. And so we would go to Atlanta, Georgia and skate all the streets and just hang out with all the cool kids here and just had a really good time. It just felt like a home away from home, really. And I come to find out there's a chiropractic school, Life University in Marietta, Georgia. I'm like, this is too good to be true. It felt like I had gotten my Hogwarts letter. Seriously, I was like, wait, so I get to go to the school and I get to do what I want. I get to be with my friends and skate. I was like, this is amazing. And to me, I just didn't want to give up the skateboard. Everybody's like, you're going to be a chiropractor and skateboard. What about your back? What about your... And I'm like, I want to be able to live my life how I want to live. And if that's riding a skateboard, that's what I'm going to do. And so I kept doing that. And I really started looking at all the local community guys who just weren't getting any help. They would have these injuries, have these falls, and just quit skating, get addicted to drugs, get drinking, whatever, right? And I was like, man, this is just messed up. Like, there's nobody else out here for these guys. Like, you know what? People might think it's whack, but I don't care. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to create this thing for skateboarders and just see how it goes. And so it being just a simple thought, chiropractic, skateboarding, ChiroSkate, put it together. That way people see it and they automatically know, oh, he's a chiropractor for skateboarders. Doesn't take much thought. And that was my whole idea behind it. Just keep it simple, right? But even through school when I was learning, like, they preached, keep it simple, keep it simple. So I'm like, all right, we're going to keep it simple. And so that's kind of how the ChiroSkate name was born. And like I said, it was really kind of nice because I didn't have to worry about any domain names taken, Instagram names. Like this is a brand new thing, like, so this is really fun. Just being able to go on stuff and type in ChiroSkate. It's like username not found. Like, yeah, that's me now. So it just worked out. And so I got into what they call outpatient clinic with Life, where you start to get to adjust the community and things like that. And a few younger guys had gotten word that I was taking care of skateboarders and things like that. And so he's now pro and things like that, but was amateur at the time, started coming through and started getting a lot of good benefits and care. And he just started telling everyone. And so then this really kind of big OG legend in the skate community in Atlanta winds up coming through, and I wound up helping him. And that was probably one of the biggest things that I could have done, because he told everyone. Like, he went on to the top of the mountains shouting, "Oh, dude, like, I'm serious." And I was in outpatient clinic and people flocking to me. I hadn't graduated yet. So I was like, man, there is something here. Like, people are pretty much dying to get this, And so I graduated and started working for Dr. Joe Hazebrook, who was actually a physical therapist for about a decade before he became a chiropractor, which I thought was really cool because I'd already had that interest in that too. So I was like, "Doc, show me, teach me. I'm here to learn." And so he taught me a lot of really cool physical therapy, soft tissue, a lot of just different approaches to the body than just the pure lay down, get adjusted, get up, And so I really appreciated that. And knowing that I wanted to go that route as well, knowing that more than just your low back or neck can get injured skateboarding, I wanted to be able to work on wrists, shoulders, ankles, knees, all that stuff. And so I actually went through and got my certification to be able to do that as well. So that combined with the spinal care, I felt like, man, we got a shot of really helping these guys out. As that progressed, the practice that I was renting out with in Marietta kind of grew to the point where I felt comfortable enough to rent my own little office in downtown Atlanta, just to be a little bit more convenient for people, because I had people driving 45 minutes an hour from Decatur, Georgia to Marietta just to get an adjustment. And I was like, I love that. Thank you. That means a lot. But like, I want to make this easier on you guys. And so I moved to downtown Atlanta, and this comes back to the Auburn Tiger story. So the street name that the clinic is actually on is Auburn Avenue.
Oh my.
Very first clinic, and I really kind of dedicated it to my dad. Each person that comes in on the table, I really look at them like, if this was my dad, what would I be doing today? And that really kind of just keeps me whole and keeps me present with each person that comes in there. And so it's been a really great turnout. Really, just that first practice, just good feeling, man, just booming. Like I said, it's amazing, even through a pandemic, that people are still kind of searching out for these kinds of things. So it means a lot to have the community behind me with this, and just the success keep on rolling. But so that's pretty much the spill of it, though, man.
Shawn, that is an amazing story.
Thank you.
Sorry for your loss with your dad. Thank you for just being an open book and sharing all of that.
Yeah.
I don't mean to get to that's deep stuff, and
Yeah.
So help us all understand. I mean, what an amazing story. I mean, everything happens for a reason. You've been, basically, the right mindset, positive attitude, authentically yourself. Wanting to be of service to others. I went to Life University also, give love, serve out of your abundance, is in our educational DNA. Mm-hmm. Help people understand, what does it look like now? Do you exclusively work with skateboarders, the reason I'm asking, Shawn, is one of the things we want to bring out for people is possibility. Most chiropractors, in my opinion, are sort of struggling to attract new patients every month, because when you talk to them, all they're ever really focused on is, how do I get more new patients? And so, a lot of them think you've got to change yourself in order to, meet what the market supposedly wants. Mm-hmm. And I see, already, where I'm going. So help people understand what's possible.
Yeah.
No chiropractor in their right mind would say, I'm going to combine skateboarding with chiropractic. We know one guy who's combined golf with chiropractic, and he's done amazingly well.
Yeah.
But tell us a story about your practice and what chiropractors should know about what's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I don't think that people should try to change themselves. I think more embrace yourself. Embrace yourself for who you are. You are. If you are a little quirky and you like little collectibles, embrace that. Other people are going to see that. Oh, you got this. To me, that stuff is cool, and I like seeing people embrace themselves. So I don't feel like any doctor ever needs to change who they are unless they're just not a good, nice person. If you're not a good, nice person, and you're not listening to your clients, change that. That's the first thing. But as far as my people that I see now coming in, it started out pretty heavily only skateboarders. It was like 90% skateboarders. What that's turned into is the skateboarders are now referring their moms, their sisters, their brothers, their other friends that are in the film industry here in Atlanta now. So now I see a lot of people in the film industry on Sundays, actually. I have days that I'm open twice a month on Sundays in office. Not many doctors' offices are doing that. To me, I just see it as another day to help out people that are so busy with life. They have literally no other day. They're working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Sunday is their off day, and I wanted to be able to facilitate that for them. So now it's kind of turned into about 60-40, about 60% skateboarders, 40% whatever, CrossFitters, runners, BMXers, desk workers, people just going down on the belt line by the street, and they'll hear ChiroSkate or see one of my little stickers plastered up, a little bit of guerrilla marketing that I kind of, I guess, did by accident that I didn't even think about doing. It just kind of happened. But yeah, so it just kind of happens. And then I wear the ChiroSkate walking down the bell line. So I say, yeah, that guy. And then, so just kind of meeting connections there. And, but yeah, like I said, to me, it was just like, it's really cool because I did get to combine both of my passions that I am very, very much in love with and bring success with that. But it was really cool because I actually graduated with another buddy, Dr. Justin Kirsten, and he's kind of taken the same idea and done a little bit of it too, but he went down the weightlifting route. So he's in that kind of big weightlifting niche kind of guy. So I'm seeing him being very successful and very well with it too. So it's the thing that kind of gets you hyped up in the morning that you actually really like to go do. And guess what? There's probably other people that are interested in that too. So if you can find that and say, hey, this is what I know, this is my experience with this. Oh, I've thrown my back out playing golf. I know what you're going through, and I think that just makes it a little bit more relatable for people. For me, I skateboard. I've separated this shoulder. I've broken this wrist. I know it hurts. I feel it. And I know what a frustration it is to be able to get something to feel back to somewhat normal as well. And so I feel like having a little bit of that coming into the office, it does help out as far as that empathy and really kind of listening and saying, okay, we're going to help out, and not just, oh, you're another new patient. Oh, you're another new number. I didn't like that. To me, that's why our healthcare system has gotten to the way that it is. Yeah. It's because people became numbers. Yeah. I don't like that. When I worked with the chiropractor back home in Alabama, we worked pretty exclusively with a management marketing company. They love the numbers. Don't get me wrong. It's great, but it's like, okay, but what kind of interaction did you have with that person today? They never talked about that. To me, that's big, because guess what? That interaction you have with that person, they are either going to go home and tell someone about you or they're not. And I'm telling you, the person that's telling someone about you, they're going to listen to that person before they listen to a $100,000 billboard, any ad, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're going to listen to that person. Oh, I went to this guy. He actually listened. He actually cared for me and took care of me. What? I'm going there, Now, what I've had to do because I did realize that I was going to be marketing to a, how do I say this, and a lesser lesser tax bracket. How about that? Yep. A lesser tax bracket population, because most skateboarders don't have the highest education level. A lot of them have been stigmatized into this, oh, you're just a dish boy or just a whatever. And so some of them kind of do feel that sometimes, and that is what they become to be. To me, I think just because you're a skateboarder, don't let that stigma make you, oh, you're just a whatever, because I dealt with that through high school. I mean, I had teachers giving me crap the whole time, oh, you're just a skateboarder, you know nothing. And I'm AP honor roll student. I'm like, I don't get what you're saying. Like, just because I do this one thing doesn't mean I'm like a hoodlum, like, so I feel like that stigma sometimes plays into even people's heads. But that being said, they do make less money, so I'm not charging the crazy charges for the office visits. I am cash only at the current moment. I just kind of found that was best because a lot of the people that were coming in didn't have insurance anyway, or their deductible was so high that they're probably not going to meet it. Or if they do come in and they do have really good insurance, say we do need an x-ray, say we do need an MRI, say we need a physical therapist co-management, say we need an orthopedic co-management, that's where that insurance comes in, right? To me, the insurance just didn't make a whole lot of sense out the gate right now. And so I've kind of went back into this cash route. And a lot of my professors, even going through school, they're like, I did this for 40 years, and if I could do it one different, it would be I did cash only. I'm like, yeah, that kind of sounds nice, And so that's where I'm at right now. Is the prices are very affordable for most of the people that are coming in, and I strive to do that. My main goal isn't to be driving in a Lamborghini and things like that. I really do want to actually help people, and as long as I'm taken care of, I got a roof on my head, I'm eating food, I'm able to go buy a pair of shoes if my heel blows out or I got a hole in the side from skating in it, I'm good, So I feel like people pick up on that too. They're like, okay, he actually is here to help me, not just rob me.
Yep.
So, and I think people pick up on that.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, Shawn. And one of the questions I have for you is how you connect with people, because I came across your Instagram account. Is that your primary platform? What are you using for platforms? How do you think about using it and making those connections? How are you thinking about ultimately content marketing in 2022?
Oh yeah, man. So that all just kind of came by accident too. I didn't even realize what I was doing when I started doing it. I was just like, Instagram, everybody's on it. It's a free marketing tool. So even if you post something and it flops, whatever, who cares, And it's funny because I just came back I do a little trade with my dentist. We do a little bartering. So I was actually taking care of him and his staff right before this. And we were talking. He's like, man, yeah, I love that you have social media now. He's like, back when I first started 20 years ago, I paid $20,000 to have mailers sent out to people. And I was like, yeah, like I'm not ever probably going to do that. So to me, there's a big difference in that, right? Granted, he was a dentist chiropractor, but to me, dentistry and chiropractic go hand in hand. The dentist really did a good job of teaching people prevention. And I feel like if we can kind of do that, we'll be right up there too. Mm-hmm. So, but I thought that was really interesting. As far as him 20 years ago starting a dentistry, and I'm like, yeah, 2 years out now. And Instagram has been a big help. I will say I'm not a big fan of social media. It does feel draining at times. And so I have reeled back on content production. I've started focusing more on website, my personal website, and actually creating membership content there, because I just feel like sometimes the Instagram stuff just gets so watered down, and it's just, I don't know, it just didn't feel the same as even it did 4 or 5 years ago. So I've started kind of backing away from it. And I think remember that big crash that Instagram and Facebook had a few months ago when it went down for hours? I was like, yeah, I don't want to have to depend on Instagram for my whatever. Like they go down and then my business just goes down because I hated that feeling. So I was like, all right, I am about to generate my own website that works and functions how I want it to. So if Instagram goes down, who cares? Here's my website now, right? So that's what I've been trying to kind of focus more towards. But what's cool with Instagram is it wants to keep someone's eyes on that screen, right? So Instagram likes to promote these things in the algorithm, right? Skateboarding specifically. So I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you post something health topic wise, flop, right? No one cares about it. It's not that nobody cares about it. It's Instagram suppressed it. To me, this is a deeper thing than what we even have understanding of right now. So when I see the skateboarding stuff, boom, engagement, boom, boom. So now look, guess what? We trick Instagram, say, hey, skateboarding, healthcare. Now it goes up together, right? Before, it's like, oh, these little health things, who cares? Skateboarding, oh, keep it there. So now we're able to have skateboarding come in, bringing health with it. And so now people are looking at healthcare as a whole different thing. Being healthy is cool now, right? Me growing up, the warm up for the kids I met up with was a cigarette and a beer, like literally 16, 17-year-old kids. Like that was the warm up. Now kids are actually showing up to skate parks with bottles of water and doing stretches. If you would have did that 10 years ago, they would have kicked you out of the park. Like they'd be like, no, you're not doing that here. You take that away. Now it's actually acceptable, right? So I think that had a big part in what I do now and in the success with it too. Because if I would have started this 10, 20 years ago, I don't know if it would have been the cool thing to do, So I've been trying to make it the cool thing to do. It's like, yeah, it's actually cool to feel good on your skateboard. It's cool to go play with little Johnny when you get home from work, like things that people aren't always just, I guess, attracted to because it's not sexy or whatever, It's like, let's make it cool. So now people feel like, oh, what I'm doing is actually part of this community, whatever it is. And so I've seen a big change with that as far as all that goes too.
Shawn, it sounds like you are continuing to follow the, what do you call it, innate path of opportunity or just good fortune, that tends to fall on people with the right attitude and, who work hard and want to be of service to people. It sounds like I'd like to learn more about what you're thinking in terms of your subscription, because oftentimes people will get their traffic from Instagram in whatever ways they have to. It's not news that people don't want to learn things. They want to be entertained. So skateboarding is a lot more entertaining than a health talk in most cases, most of the time.
Exactly.
But you got a lot of followers. I can see you got a lot of engagement. You're doing a lot of great things, and probably to your benefit that it's not all, chiropractic, but people actually get to sort of see their passion in what you're doing, and that endears them to want to follow you even more. If all you're doing is selling me what you sell, then why would I follow you? So can you dig deeper into what you're now transitioning into, membership sites, subscriptions, all that type of stuff?
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to start doing membership style offers, and the reason why is because I wanted to keep my prices in the clinic low. And so I found that if people are paying this membership service, then it allows me to keep my prices low. I'm not having to worry about digging up 8 new patients for the month, right? I have this subscription service, this money coming in because people are valuing me, whether they're coming in that month at all, right? They're, okay, this is my retainer. It's like their own little insurance payment, right? But not $400, $500. So what it started out now is it's $10 a month. And you're actually able to have videos of different exercises related to skateboarding a lot of times. And what I've been trying to branch out in more too as well is a little bit more of like even skate nutrition, because to me, if you're at a desk job, you're not going to need the same nutrition as if you're out skateboarding for 4 or 5 hours, right? You're going to need a lot more stuff. So I have tried to incorporate that a little bit. I have a buddy called The Daily Push on Instagram, and he actually does a lot of the personal training, nutrition, things like that too. So I'm actually trying to get him incorporated with it too, so that he has a lot of good content pumping into the website as well. And that way it's not having to take me out of the office too much either. But like I said, it really just comes down to it helps me out keeping my prices low for everybody else and being able to look out for that type of niche community goal. Really, let's see, hopefully within the next 5 years, is, you know how LA Fitness gives you the little cards that you can beep and just scan in and go and do whatever. So my ultimate goal is I want to have a indoor skateboard warehouse. And you get one of these little membership cards, got ChiroSkate on it, and you can get to go to the warehouse and beep. And you get to go in the warehouse, skate till your heart's content, go to a little gym in there, little chiropractic office to the side too. Got all your little info in that card, you beep, you check in, go ahead and schedule your appointment, or if you're already on the books, whatever, right? That's kind of what I want it to evolve into. So that's why I started small, just website membership now, but it's going to be turning into more of an actual like, oh, I get to go to this really cool skate park with a gym and a chiropractor, and like that's my place. I'm a member there. That's what I wanted to turn into.
I cannot wait to see it unfold. Shawn, we've been talking a ton, Jason and I, about recurring revenue. We like to call it having a payday practice. You are a fantastic example of putting that into action, and of course on the social side as well, building a niche practice, understanding your market, being authentic to yourself, publishing content consistently, and now going into memberships. I have you been looking inside of our computers? Because there's a lot of what we've been discussing.
I think it's just like once it gets into that universe, man, it's just that universal consciousness, you know? Like I think that's what happens. I recently got to go out to LA for the first time to skateboard. Skated 20 years, never got to go to Los Angeles to skateboard. And in those 4 days that I skated out there, I came back and I was 1,000% better skateboarder. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's in the water. It's in the air, the energy, the whole iron sharpens iron. I don't know. But I literally came back with this new, just even mindset on me riding my skateboard that just felt better. So yeah, man, it's great.
I love it. Well, we will keep abreast of the developments as you continue to build, grow. We'd love to have you back in the future, especially as you really launch that membership site. Get that rocking throughout the year. Thank you so much for coming on today. And anybody watching or listening, ChiroSkate, check it out. Shawn, thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Awesome interview with Dr. Shawn Robinson, ChiroSkate on Instagram. I'm hyped. These are like the young next generation of chiropractors. There's not that much separation between all of us, but I'll say younger guy who's really bringing awesome energy, great focus, unique approach, utilizing modern tools. And it's cool. It gets me excited. It shows the diversification. I mean, 30 years ago, you'd have said, imagine that there's a chiropractor exclusively focused taking care of skateboarders. You'd be like, this sentence does not compute in the English language. And now it's a thing. Well done, Shawn. Can't wait to have you back in the future. Jason, what were your thoughts?
I think it's a thing. I think it should be a growing thing. You know, we keep teaching that, if you connect with a specific audience, that audience will self-identify as understanding why you can help them specifically. We oftentimes, refer to Greg Rose and the Titleist Performance Institute. He had the same experience. Here he is with this massive, institutionally supported, profession-wide, elite place run by a chiropractor, Titleist Performance Institute. But when he started and he told everybody, I'm only going to work with golfers as a chiropractor, they all thought he was crazy. So I love this kind of crazy. I think it's terrific, and good for him. It's great.
I could not agree more. Thanks, Shawn, for coming on, chatting with us, and showcasing, hopefully, to some docs listening and watching about what is possible. Thank you so much for watching this video on The Smart Chiropractor. To not miss a single thing that's clinically oriented, marketing oriented, or more, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel today.